Hey everybody, Faja here. Welcome to another Kava Journal. Thank you so much for those of you that have been joining me, and I hope you have been enjoying and found some interest and maybe learned something. Now, in the previous video, we did go into some of the mythology and culture around Kava, specifically Fijian culture and Tongan culture. And in today's intro, I want to specifically focus on the Fijian mythology, surrounding the creator snake god within Fijian culture, Ndege. Now, within the story of Ndege, before there was anything, there were two living gods. That was Ndege and Turuwaka. Ndege was a gigantic male serpent, whereas Turuwaka was a gigantic female hawk. And the two of them were the best of friends. But one day, without warning, without a single word, Turuwaka disappeared. Frantically, Ndege would search for Turuwaka, his only true friend, and at the time, the only other living being within the world. Day and night, Ndege would search, but to no avail, and he would not stop his search until he came upon Turuwaka's hidden nest. And it was here that Ndege discovered two abandoned eggs. The kind and benevolent Ndege chose to take care of these two eggs in Turuwaka's absence. And from these eggs came the first two humans. And Ndege would give to them the two sacred plants, Vuga and Kava. Vuga would be the trees that the Fijian culture would build their canoes and traverse the oceans on. And Kava would be the ceremonial plant that would connect all of their kind to the gods themselves. These two people would be raised separately by Ndege until such a time that they would reach maturity. And when that time came, they would spread their proverbial wings, taking the gifts that Ndege gave to them, and create the Fijian people. And the two first people would spread the knowledge of Ndege and Turuwaka, of Kava and Vuga, and the ways of their people. And now we begin our Kava ceremony, which we start off with 375 micron nut bags, each with 4 tablespoons of Kava, and we're going to add in 10 ounces of room temperature water, let them steep for about 10 minutes, and then, massage and steep for 10 minutes, and then let it sit for 10 minutes before we drain and consume. All right, so we have our batches of kava. I'm going to try something a little bit different because I do not have something to cut the batches with. Instead, I'm just going to pour all 3 batches into 1 cup and try to take it all in one go. Giggity. Giggity. Okay, never mind. I overestimated how much liquid was, so I can only do half and half. Either way, bula. Muck. So I might have dribbled some of that onto my shirt, but I will state that drinking it straight without something to cut it with, like orange juice, oof, is that bitter. Now, I'm not sure if this is just simply due to the fact that I have been on a regular kava regimen and it's starting to build up, and that reverse tolerance is going to start to hit me a little bit more and more as I regularly include this into my daily regimen. But I will say, doing it without something to cut it with, a mixer, without that orange, pineapple, guava drink to kind of cut off the bitterness, that numb tongue feeling, more so intense than before. But we'll go in again with that 15-minute check-in and then the 45-minute check-in. So, 15-minute check-in. It rolled in a little bit quicker than previously. The feeling of euphoria, the loosening of my muscles, and feeling a lot more relaxed, just in a state of sitting here and enjoying being. It is very apparent, it's very much so there, and it's very much so enjoyable. And I have, once again, this is all quite anecdotal. I am not a medical professional, a dietitian, in any way, shape, or form. I am simply sharing with y'all my experience and what I'm currently feeling and what I have been feeling and how it's been affecting my daily life. And I can honestly say that I have been able to wake up a lot more optimistic than usual, especially with all of the struggles that I went through. Every day is getting a little bit easier. I honestly don't know whether or not this is temporary, whether or not this is the result of the kava or something else, but I can honestly say, for now, as part of this journal, I will state that every day is getting a little bit easier for me to wake up and be okay with myself. And I'm hoping that the kava regimen has something to do with it, because then there will be a quantifiable effect that I can somewhat measure. And yeah, we'll check in at the 45-minute mark. So, 45-minute check-in. Oh, my hair's a mess. Give me a second. Oh. Yeah, so, 45-minute check-in. Yeah. It's not, like, once again, I have to continue to state this because, it is advertised as a alternative to alcohol. One thing to note when it comes down to kava is it is not going to be as a intense experience as getting crunked or getting drunk will be like. In truth, kava is a very much so relaxing experience. It doesn't come with giggles, but it definitely comes with you thinking about things that make you want to giggle, mainly because you're just sitting there in a more relaxed state. And when you're in a relaxed state, your mentality goes into a relaxed state, and you just kind of think about more silly things, and you're just enjoying yourself. At the very least, that's where I'm at right now with the 45-minute check-in. And once again, this is definitely something that I will state. Drink responsibly. Drink responsibly. There are ways that you can take kava in the morning and the daily so that you can just keep going with your day. And there are ways that you can experiment with just to feel the full euphoric effects for whatever it may be that you are imbibing kava in, for whatever it may reasons. I will not judge. But I will state that I do feel it's a lot easier to just simply speak, and I might be rambling. More than likely I'm rambling. I'm probably rambling, but I understand why this drink has 3,000 years of history where it's used as a social lubricant as well as a democratic cultural gift, because that's what kava was used for in times. If you and your neighbor were warring at the time or battling for some reason, if you bring them kava, that is a gesture of an apology, and a genuine one at that. So I am excited to continue on with my kava journey. I've reached the 7-day mark, so with that, I am going to take a 2-day break from imbibing in kava and making batches, and then I will continue on with another 7-day regimen to see how that will do, whether or not that break will affect me, or if I will continue to build up the reverse tolerance. So thank you so much for those of you that have joined me for the kava journey today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.